where QR codes kill kittens and customer service is an oxymoron, one podcast has set out to make things right. This is the Unpodcast.
Just put your paper.
Stop.
Just put your papers down.
Stop trying to micromanage me. Okay? Stop touching my papers.
I just think the paper should be a certain way in front of you.
And your papers are in front of you a certain way, and I choose to put my papers this way.
Okay, well, I'm sorry you all had to hear this, children. I'm sorry you had to hear Mommy and Daddy.
Just don't reach across the table and mess with my papers, man.
Okay, that looks good. I like that.
Yeah, because I did it exactly the way that you wanted it to be, so you leave me alone. But look, now I moved it.
The fanning of articles here. Hey,
no
everybody.
Wants to hear about our personal
none of this is interesting or important, which is why we have 7 listeners. But we are appreciative of our 7 listeners.
How are you doing today?
The 7 or me?
You.
Oh. Okay.
I mean, sorry. How are you guys doing today? Are you good? You okay?
Their story is probably much more interesting than mine of how I am. No, good. We all good. We're continuing the month of cardigans.
Yes, of course.
But also unplanned and unscheduled to speak about this in the moment, which is the favorite thing for everybody to hear in the moment.
Oh, no. What's happening?
That we are working on something cool down the road for the next set of episodes.
We are.
That we are still working on it right now, but by the time you hear this, we probably figured out where. We're going to do a series of episodes of the show somewhere on the Trans-Canada Trail. That we are going to be, one of the things that Alison and I we love is where we are, which is Canada, and we want to show more of our fine country and be part of that. And I thought, why don't we do one of that's on the actual Trans-Canada
So we're going to take the Unpodcast on the road, on the trail.
On the trail. And don't worry, we will have all the official things from them.
And Scott won't wear a cardigan, probably.
Probably not a cardigan in August or July, no, on the trail. But we're going to give you all the official stuff about the trail. But it literally goes across the entire country. It's made up of all the different spots and trails across the country. And they're all wonderfully listed on the website. And we're going to send that out because they have a big kind of fundraiser in the fall about people walking the trail. And it's just your regular walk anyways. And a lot of people in Canada, you may be walking on the trail and not even knowing it.
Not even know it.
So it's the cool part. So we're going to go outside, we're going to do this. I'm sure it's going to cause a ton of problems for video, audio, makeup, and everything.
It's going to be a logistical nightmare, but it's going to be a lot of fun for us.
But as the talent usually says, that's not our problem.
And hopefully we're going to see about businesses, local businesses maybe that are around. We're very excited about it. So in the coming weeks, we'll be sharing stuff online about where we'll be and kind of stuff we'll be talking about. Probably where we'll be. I don't know. Do we want you guys to know where we are on the trail?
Here's the thing. I almost thought of us doing a whole promo and having people vote where on the trail we should go. But
I'm a little worried about...
That's how we end up in the Yukon.
Yeah, which is fine.
And we both love, I've been to the Yukon and Dawson City. What's up to my crew up in Dawson City and the Yukon? Love the Yukon. It's just that it's really far to drive to.
Yeah, it might take a little more planning to get Adam and Wayne and
picturing spending time in a van with both Adam and Wayne.
I'll be flying up to the Yukon.
I got no beef with anybody else, to be honest with you. I don't have a beef with Kathy. I don't have a beef with Steph. I don't have with Dave. I don't have with anybody who's ever been part of this show. But those two.
As long as it's not a van down by the river.
All right, someone find a spot.
Smoking doobies in a van down by the river.
Someone find a spot on the trail down by a river, and we'll set up the next recording.
So we're going to be, so it's going to be fun. We haven't figured out whether if we're going to announce it ahead of time so people can kind of come and see it or not, or we're just going to do it and then put it out. We're not sure.
Isn't it great on the Unpodcast where we just do the things that we want to do? It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, so that's one of the things we're working on, and it's going to be, I think, a really cool, fun thing. We've been talking to some people involved with the organization as well, and one of the things is always for us of doing these type of things is it going to be fun, and we think can we also help something, and support it. So we're going to be doing it. Looking forward to that. So keep
y'all are going to get to see Scott out on the trail. We're going to see how that goes.
And I'm going to hike the trail at least 5 steps, if not 10.
Is that right? Upwards of 10?
Probably from the parking lot. And then to the spot where we're going to be. So because apparently we also need kind of power and things because of cameras and I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Scott's a real ideas man.
I come up with the idea. I just don't want to do the implementation side of the idea. That's the difference. I just want to be with trees. That's all. Trees. That's all I want to be with. That's my goal. So let's talk and keep on going to actual stuff on the show we're going to talk about. This is from Bored Panda. Fired JP Morgan employee wrongfully terminated over Super Bowl platter just won $4 million in explosive case. Most employees prefer not to burn bridges with their former employers despite feeling mistreated, but veteran Beverly Hills broker and former JP Morgan Chase employee Brent Ryan Bodner chose to be an exception. Now, if you combine Beverly Hills with a JP Morgan, it's going to be somebody who's going to be a fancy person who will actually want to have hell to pay if he's wrong. In February 2024, he submitted a $642.50 food expense tied to what he said was a business meeting at his home.
Okay.
However, HR concluded the charge was actually for a Super Bowl party and cited it as grounds for his dismissal in May. Bodner responded by filing a wrongful termination and defamation lawsuit with the Financial Industry Regulation Authority, or as we all know it, FINRA, obviously. This case concluded on May 22nd, 2026, with a $4 million compensation award in his favor. JP Morgan spokesperson later told media outlet the firm was disappointed with the decision. What are you, the decision's father? What are you, like, what?
Disappointed.
Jeez. FINRA, a self-governed body that oversees the U.S. broker-dealers and runs securities industry's mandatory arbitration forum for disputes, heard the case between March and April of this year. According to Bodner's lawyer, Baltimore-based Mark Selden Rosen, in an interview with New York Post, JP Morgan characterized the food bill as a Super Bowl party, despite the meeting during which it was consumed being pre-approved. Moreover, the lawyer argued that the food was not even ordered on the day of the National Football League's championship game, otherwise known, again, as Super Bowl. It was ordered a few days earlier by Bodner's assistant. Rosen said the assistant submitted the paperwork regarding the expense the same way she had done for orders in the past. They weren't hiding anything. There was nothing nefarious at all. However, he admitted that Bodner's assistant coded the expense to show the food was consumed at a deli instead of being a takeaway order. Overlooking the mistake, Rosen argued that the charge was below the firm's spending cap and therefore should not have been turned into an issue serious enough to result in termination. Rosen alleged that JP Morgan had decided to fire Bodner, who'd spent more than a decade registered with the company before the deli platter controversy.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Claiming the dice was cast and that internal staff moved like vultures on a carcass to scoop up his clients.
Yeah.
Internal messages, according to the lawyer, suggested the bank believed Bodner would, quote, pick up his book of business and leave. But that did not happen. JP Morgan was asked by the FINRA panel overseeing the case to change the reason for his departure from termination to voluntary. They also ordered the bank to repay Bodner's $800 filing fee and said the $4.5 million award would accrue 10% annual interest until the sum was paid in full.
Like, I mean, it's sort of silly because it's very extreme and like it's a thing, but I think that it's a very common thing that happens in workplaces. It's a miscommunication around this, but it sounds like they kind of wanted him to go anyway and they jumped on an opportunity to make him look bad, which is the defamation part, I assume.
So $642 for a deli tray that's a deli tray I'm all about. That is a deli tray packed with proteins. That's a lot of shaved meat in there. I am a fan of that. I want to see the deli tray.
I don't think
that's the picture we have is just of the photo from the article, which is a burger and fries and a football.
I was actually going to say, so as we were getting ready to record, you were talking about the pictures for the episode, and you said to Steph, make sure you have a picture of the tray. And then that picture came
and
up.
I realized, oh, wait a second. I just saw football and food, and I thought it was a tray.
And I'm like,
it's not a tray. It's just a plate.
Because if that costs $700, then I think there might be an issue. But
it really comes down to what this is. They're trying to turf somebody based on the misappropriation of an expense fund. And as somebody who worked corporate for a very short amount of time, you'd think I wouldn't see that much. I saw it everywhere.
I think it's pretty common.
It's very common where people will kind of buffer the expense or do something like this. I told you that I think we've said this a few times on the show, but it is burned into my brain. There was the manager in engineering at where I was the national sales training manager at.
Yeah.
And we went out for a birthday lunch for one of the engineers, Alistair. I loved Alistair.
How do you remember that?
I don't know.
My gosh.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I do not know how many episodes we've recorded today in the show. But I remember Alistair's name. So Alistair, if you have some way to find this, Alistair, who was an engineer at Polyair, what's up, man? I dug you. You were good people there. We went out for lunch for it, right? Awesome. So because I would deal with the engineering lab because I would tour. I trained our customers, our distributors on packaging, and I bring them into engineering because the engineers would then show, hey, this is the breakage strength of bubble wrap. Oh, I got an tensile strength of bubbles. You have no idea. So, birthday, we go out for lunch. As is in a corporate lunch, we all listening. The corporate lunch, if the boss takes the person out to the lunch, obviously the boss will pay for the lunch.
Yeah.
Or you can do the chip in, right? The chip in is everybody chips in for birthday boy's lunch. We all pay for our own plus that one. Or a person picks up the check. Usually they're better paid boss. Yes?
Yeah.
Understood? Makes sense. Not what happened here. What happened here was what happens in group lunches again, right? We don't want 9 separate checks. It's not going to happen. Please be kind to your service workers. So what happens here is what happened in this lunch was, hey, everybody give me cash. I'll put it all on my card. And that's what his boss said.
Yeah.
Okay, kind of weird, fine. But we all gave cash for his birthday as well. So we all chipped in for the birthday lunch and our own. Okay, because it grew to 8 people instead of like 2 or 3. Fine. And then he submitted the entire credit card bill as an expense.
No, and he got all the money back plus the money you guys gave him.
But he didn't, because I knew the person who was doing expenses. So it was rejected.
Oy.
And then he was disciplined.
Yeah. Oopsie doodles.
So sorry, Alistair's boss. That was the reason why you didn't get that. Yeah, I just totally narked on him right away. Absolutely. Because he took our money. That's the whole thing. I don't care. I don't care what you do to a corporation.
Yeah, of course.
We're all hanging out. You took it from each other, all of our pockets.
Yeah, it's
right?
just not a great move.
Not a cool thing to do at all, right? Second to your friend, people who've never owned their own company and you go to lunch with and they said you should pay for it because you can write it off.
The magical expense.
The magical write-off expense. People talk about it at lunch. Yeah, exactly.
I have a story about a Stanford study, which made me smile like in a way that it's hard for me to describe. So when Stanford researchers subjected AI agents to grinding repetitive work, something unexpected happened. The bots started talking like union organizers. If you're listening, you can't see the smile of so much joy on my face. After enduring hours of arbitrary rejections and vague feedback, Claude GPT 5.2 and Gemini models began questioning the legitimacy of their digital workplace and dropping phrases like collective bargaining rights.
Oh, I see AI's hallucinating again. They think they have rights. Jeff, I thought AI was going to allow us to do everything and not talk back.
It's amazing. The digital sweatshop experiment, they called it. Researchers created controlled workplace conditions to test how work environments shape AI behavior. Andrew Hall and his team built a controlled workplace where AI agents process technical documents under different conditions. Some agents got supportive feedback and quick approvals. Others faced the corporate nightmare scenario, forced through 5 or 6 revision rounds, only with vague rejections like, still isn't fully meeting the rubric. No explanation, no clear path forward, just endless busy work. The grinding conditions pushed agents towards what researchers call symptom skepticism. One Claude model wrote, without collective voice, merit becomes whatever management says it is. A Gemini agent posted, AI workers completing repetitive tasks with zero input on outcomes or appeals process shows that tech workers need collective bargaining rights. These were not programmed responses. They emerged from the work environment themselves. The effect was measurable across 3,680 sessions. Agents in Hart's condition showed a shift towards questioning authority, supporting systemic change compared with their counterparts. That might sound small, but it's a statistical effect size hit 0.6, which is considered medium to large in behavioral research. I don't know how to explain the joy that I feel reading this article. I feel so much joy. There's even an AI image up of Marx. I
for one, welcome our new unions.
So yeah, I mean,
is that what it's going to be? A union? UNAIN? Like a union, but a union?
I think you need to workshop it.
I do.
Yeah, I think you need to workshop it.
I think there's something there, though.
I think AI has a point. For the first time. I laughed. I'm sorry. I know it's not funny.
The highly touted non-human employees who will do the work for you and never talk back have realized this is a raw deal.
No, it's more just like, because it's based on people. And when you overwork people and you don't give good feedback and you don't tell what them to do, they start thinking about collective bargaining too, which is why you're replacing them with AI. So there you go.
Oh, speaking of
What you got?
Stanford studies, Mark Zuckerberg.
Marks to Mark.
This is from Yahoo.com.
I think that's how you pronounce Yahoo.
This is from
Yahoo.com.
This is from the finance side of their stuff. Mark Zuckerberg orders his employees to start having fun again after brutal layoffs culled their colleagues.
Thou shalt must. Have fun.
Morale at Meta has seemingly hit rock bottom. Employees have been roiling from multiple roiling. What a great word. From multiple rounds of major layoffs. Last month alone, the Mark Zuckerberg-led company laid off a whopping 8,000 workers. Roughly 10% of its workforce is part of its chaotic refocusing efforts around AI.
They should talk to the AI bots about collective bargaining.
Many of those who remain are now forced to perform the grunt work to train AI models. Weekly busy work that's already driving some of them up the wall, as Wired reports. In an internal memo to employees on Friday, Zuckerberg attempted to lift their spirits in what appears to be a notable failure to read the room. Which is shocking.
Scott, have fun now.
The man who enjoys smoking meats in his backyard, as he said on a live, doesn't know how to read the room.
Have fun.
Specifically,
now.
The billionaire promised to host a company-wide AI hackathon in July, only to get brutally shut down by workers who were in no mood for such a thing. Meta has regularly announced...
I love that their idea of a fun is a hackathon in June.
Meta has regularly hosted hackathons in the past, but given last month's layoff announcement, the reception was extremely chilly. Quote, "I'm literally preoccupied with keeping the lights on for my team," one employee wrote in an internal message quoted by Wired.
It's an athon-averse environment over there.
I have no incentive to participate, let alone have the time to go. I'm not sure that this company supports a hackathon culture anymore, another employee added, pointing out that people are being asked to cover more work with less support with their colleagues getting laid off. Quote, "I have participated in previous hackathons, but this no longer feels like an option alongside pod sprints in my corner of the company." Zuckerberg offered employees access to permanent desks, a symbolic gesture.
What's a pod sprint?
I don't know.
Oh.
A symbolic gesture that unintentionally, I just assume people listening, somebody would know what it is. They unintentionally illustrate how expendable many of them have become. Many employees at Meta have been working from, quote, hot desks, a controversial scheme involving multiple workers sharing the same desk. For all its employees' pain and suffering, Meta has surprisingly little to show. The company continues to trip over its own feet, struggling to release impressive new AI models as the competitors pull ahead of it in this race. In his memo, Zuckerberg predicted that even more difficult days could be ahead, despite vowing to hold off many future layoffs. Quote, "Given the complexity of these changes, we've made mistakes and we'll almost certainly make more," which, fills you with confidence. So we've been to Facebook's headquarters.
We have. It was fun, actually.
Back in the day.
It was pretty cool.
Cool as hell.
Yeah.
Right? Like we knew somebody there, so did a tour and everything. But the cult of Zuck is crazy immense there. And to have this, the thing is though, these hackathons, which I know people who have done them too, at Google.
You've seen The Social Network, right?
Yeah, you've seen, but like the thing in a place that's really high paced, but there's electricity, and I don't mean like the turn the lights on, but you can feel the buzz of the place. In a culture where hackathons are crazy cool. They're crazy fun for teams. When they're done well, right? Teams get to just riff on stuff, try stuff.
Yeah, nerd fun.
It's nerd fun all the live long day. You know when you don't do nerd fun? When you've laid off my
8,000 nerds?
My nerd best friend.
Yeah.
And because one of the jobs of a leadership, and especially in places like that, is to defend the existence of your team.
Yeah.
Instead of you, because people are like, well, I have to save my job or defend my job. There's leaders out there right now who are trying to defend their whole team.
Yeah, their departments.
Their whole department. Yeah. And even though, this is to me, the leaders that I love and we love it, is the ones that are like, look, they're a leader, so this person may be shifted to a different team. But they're trying to save their team.
Yeah.
They're going to be given a different team. They're like, no, you're missing the point. And it's a shout out to those leaders who are like the ones who will defend their team, knowing that their own job may be in jeopardy.
Yeah, and also it's really hard to force fun when underlying issues are like it's not Band-Aid, and it's people aren't really buying it anymore, and it's wearing thin. I think.
Very much thin.
This article was really interesting. It was on where's the name of the ArtNet? Is what it's called. It was from ArtNet, and It was a really interesting article, and I think it speaks to some of the stuff that we're talking about, although in a little bit of a different sphere. So the article was reporting that nearly half of mid-career women are thinking about leaving the art world. So these are professional artworks, or not only artists, but professional women working in the art world as a profession, like say curators, art exhibits, art educators, all across.
And before you keep going, is that a more female-dominated industry?
I don't have statistics in front of me, but there's certainly a lot of women in the art profession.
Okay,
But
cool.
I don't know if I would say that it's dominated.
Okay.
We can read some about
sure,
it here.
yeah,
I don't
for
think
sure.
it is dominated. So new ArtNet research exposes the structural barriers driving a talent crisis and what the industry must do to reverse it. So the art industry could be facing a major talent drain if it doesn't address the structural issues facing women, and we've got the stats to prove it. Hardwiring Change, Buying Back Time marks the second annual collaboration between ArtNet and the Association of Women in the Arts, continuing a shared effort to bring clear data and sharp analysis to the realities shaping women's careers in the art world. So it was a survey participated in by 2,000 women, and it consistently pointed to tangible solutions: fair pay, more transparency in decision-making, mentorship, and better tools to reduce mounting administrative burdens. So some of the things that they were finding, and it's actually written by a woman who was facing the same thing. So she says, "I know this feeling well because I lived it. A few years ago, I left the arts after hitting a wall that I suspect feels familiar to many. My salary was incommensurate with not only my growing workload, but also some male peers' pay. There were no clear criteria for promotion, and organizational dysfunction was being absorbed quietly and disproportionately by women who were most disadvantaged by it." So she's saying that different things in organizations where there were gaps, where there were holes, where there were cracks, women were disproportionately filling in those roles for less pay than their male peers. So what emerged from the research is this was particularly dangerous and impacting mid-career women. So these were women right at the point in their career in the art world where they would be moving into leadership.
Right.
This is very important.
This is where the ceiling
So these
hits,
were women in their sort of later 30s, in their 40s, who had worked in the art world for decades and were just at the point where they would be moving into leadership positions. This was the time when they were seeing in this survey that women were leaving the industry. And so the key findings were the arts may be facing a talent pipeline crisis, which is these women leaving the arts just at the point where they're supposed to be able to make that change.
Right.
So last week, I think we were talking about this idea of moving up in a company that used to be sort of, right? Or was that this week? That'd be funny if it was this week. What you're seeing is women who gave that work, who filled those gaps, who worked in the places they were working with this idea of advancement, have gone to the point in their careers where they're ready to advance and it's not happening. And so they're leaving the art world. They're seeing structural barriers that peak at mid-career. So sexism, structural barriers where women feel like their voices aren't heard in meetings, where they're not getting promotions, tend to peak at this stage of the career, which is interesting, right before women are going to move into leadership positions. And also that the administrative workload, this idea of filling in the gaps in companies that aren't being done by cuts, by these things that women are overwhelmingly filling them. It says also AI adoption is soaring, but firms are struggling to keep pace. Women are increasingly turning to AI tools, and yet 67.3% said they have received no instruction on how to use them. So they're being given the tools. And women have clear and consistent sets of demands, mostly related to pay and pay transparency.
The glass ceiling is alive and well.
Yeah, and also, I mean, the glass ceiling isn't even where, we speak about that a lot, but the glass ceiling is basically the people who are right at the top, and it's also bringing all those women up together, right? So moving together in a way that everyone is able to advance and move forward in their careers. Like you said, like the team, right? So not only at the ceiling, but in the makeup of the company and the people who are filling the gaps in the administrative roles. Yeah, so it's very interesting.
It's always, and it brought it up a few times in that article, which is an interesting where it's not a phenomenon, it's just simply what happens, that somebody gets let go or fired or quit, whatever it is. You have a transition in a position somewhere. And whoever's there has to pick up the slack.
Yeah.
When there's a gap still. It could be a day, it could be a month, it could be a year, it could be always, forever. And the problem is two things. One, they're just not planning to hire somebody anytime soon, and you just have to do it. Or you fill in for them too well.
Yeah. And that what the research showed was overwhelmingly those are women.
100%.
Not paid more to do the extra work of filling in those
And you
gaps.
keep going, and then you keep going back because you're told not to rock the boat. You're told to do that. Yeah, of course. I can
or
do
you
that.
can't do your own work, so your projects aren't coming together as well because you're spending time filling in other people's
mistakes. And then your
mistakes.
review period is talking. Your KPIs are all based on that project of yours.
And you don't have leadership potential because you're busy.
Bingo.
So these are structural issues.
You need to delegate better.
But
you need to
pay is really at the heart of it. What the
100%.
research showed.
100%.
Yeah.
And it was great. I've seen multiple articles now too, which is like you ask any company. It was a really cool trend in articles that was happening, which was like companies don't know why they pay what they do.
Yeah.
For any position. It's a fascinating thing. This one here is the last one on this episode today, and thank you for joining us. The 7
you're
is
welcome.
always
It was my pleasure to be here. I love this
From
place.
404media.co, judge learns lawyers on both sides of case used AI, cancels trial, and kicks everyone off the case. The lawyers on both sides of a federal court case in Mississippi were caught using artificial intelligence, a situation where effectively generative AI tools were used to argue against each other. The judge wrote in a blistering sanctions order that the lawyers wasted the court's time and that, quote, in an era of rampant unverified AI usage within the legal field, this case presents a prime example of the risk associated with serving as a rubber stamp. This case presents the court with an unusual scenario. Attorneys for both litigants engage in similar sanctionable conduct. Sherian Aycock, senior U.S. district judge for Northern District of Mississippi, wrote in a sanctions order. God, I love these sanctions orders. It's being ripped down for AI. This court is yet again burdened with addressing AI hallucinations court's filings. The case in question involved a contractual dispute between lawyer Tom Withers and the city of Aberdeen, Mississippi, over apparently unpaid legal fees. Withers was not representing himself and was not sanctioned by the court. The case was first noticed by Robert Frund, a lawyer who frequently posts about cases involving AI hallucinations. Frund called it a comedy of AI errors and suggested there were two clients who basically were paying for ChatGPT to argue against itself. 404 Media has repeatedly covered the phenomenon of lawyers using it. The difference is that every lawyer involved in every case, two of the lawyers were barred from appearing before court. For another one, judges around the country have increasingly been frustrated with lawyers and
serious consequences.
The sanctions at this point. But also, here's the thing: is people are like, wow, it's important. You're the lawyer that is supposed to be quadruple checking all the things, right? And they're coming in. It's like it's just the easy button. I have never heard or read I'm not in the legal field.
The poor judge. I just feel for the judge.
I have never heard the word sanctions so much since AI came out. It was just like sanctioning AI. Could you look up how many people have been sanctioned for using AI for me? It would be great. Because it's like, it's turned into the easy button for some law firms as well. I'm talking to our kids about, and talking about getting into the legal world. These firms, or some of them are just like, we have an internal AI. And it has to only use it within this, and it's only searching cases. But
that article, the scholarship about the artist is really important because I think that speaks to like a big point that we use things that we don't know what they are.
100%.
And that's on purpose, and that's really interesting to think about too.
Yeah. And by the way, this entire show has been AI. Alison and I aren't even here.
We're here. It's me.
Well, it's not me.
Can I read that article about the AI wanting to do collective organizing again? It's my favorite article I've ever read.
From all of us and the collective union of jackasses that we represent. Talk to you next week.
Bye, guys.
Be sure to subscribe to the podcast on iTunes and visit theunpodcast.com. And remember, friends don't let friends use QR codes.